We'll be starting in 1 minute. Happy New Year. So great to see you all. Happy New Year. I hope everyone is doing okay. Big hugs to everybody. Great to see you. Lori, Shelly, Sandy, Phyllis, Faye. Oh my gosh. Margaret. Yeah, it's great to see everybody. Sherry, Sue. Awesome to see you. Allie.
Maria.
Yeah. Awesome to see everybody. So we made it through 2025. So sometimes, Steph and I, we just want to get together, with you. And we did that in December with our kind of like little dance party. So some of you were there, and that was kind of like just a spur of the moment thing. And we just wanted to hang out, spend some time, and have some fun. So now, this morning, what we want to do is spend some time together. Stephanie is going to lead us through a short Qigong session just to kind of like anchor us and ground us. And then we have four introspective questions that we're going to go through together. Um, and we'll be doing some coaching as needed to kind of like dig a little bit deeper into those questions and really unearth some answers and really connect with our soul's consciousness. Um, really I always feel history repeats itself until we learn the lesson. So I feel like for us, I know me personally, 2025 was by far the hardest year of my life. I'm just going to keep it 100 with everybody here. We had three in-depth, scary family member issues, right? One was involving cancer, one was involving dementia, and it was just very, very, very tough, right? Career-wise, it was really good. The career stuff, we kind of like moved forward and we were kind of like sharing from our heart and really entering into our power. But it was those interpersonal lessons that were really important and powerful. And I think when you step back and you look at the Chinese calendar, Chinese astrology, last year being the year of the snake, this year being the year of the fire horse, last year was about shedding really deep layers of old skin, old emotion, old fear. So we really want to anchor in and learn those lessons from 2025 so we could move forward and really kind of charge forward in the year of the fire horse in our power. So after we go through those four questions and we kind of get a really clear feel for what we learned from 2025 and what our soul wants in 2026, we'll do a meditation and anchor it in. So, just like every kind of workshop that Stephanie and I do, or anything we want to share with you, really what you put in is what you get out. So, the more engaged you are, the more you are really thinking about these questions and answering them and writing it down, and the more you share it in the group, the more you're going to get out of this experience. So, we're super excited that you're here. Steph, you want to jump in and share anything?
I am just so happy to see some faces, some familiar faces from all different places, and so happy to share this time together. We're really honored to have you here. This is really means a lot. So thank you, and we're just so grateful for having this community, right? It's community means so much, and we're all in our own homes, but we can have this sense of togetherness and interconnection and outward connection.
Yeah. So we get through it together. That's how we get through it. And sometimes we feel like isolating, but I feel like, our souls came to this planet with like 7 or 8 billion people on it. So we came here to connect with others, right? So I just love that we're all here right now. And just seeing the names pop on and the faces, we love each and every one of you. And thank you so much for being here. So we're going to get started. I just want to make sure that we have Steph's mic good for, do you see that one?
Yeah,
Good for
usually
picking
looks
that
like
up?
that. So I think if when I step away, if you can't hear me, someone just pop on, but I think we should be good. Just
Cool.
gonna do about 5 minutes of movement. You can do it seated if you'd want. Just have your both feet on the floor and use your upper body. But if you'd like to stand, we'll be doing
Yep.
a little bit of embodiment of these things that Brett was talking about. Feeling it in the body. So this is called Qigong. It's from Chinese medicine, and we're all just standing. It's nice, easy, soft movement. But if there's anything that feels a little out of your comfort zone, just stay within your range of comfort. So starting with the feet wide, we always start with a wide stance. So if you're seated, just both feet firmly planted. If you're standing, feet a little wider than the shoulders, feeling that stable base. And just rolling the shoulders back a few times. Inhale as they come up. Exhaling, peeling open the heart, sending the shoulder blades down, and a soft bend in the knees. So the whole body starting to move with this breath. Inhale, lifting up. Open up the heart. Send the shoulder blades down, rooting through the heels. Send this warm, cleansing breath through the body. And slowing down the pace, so maybe even slower than you normally move. Getting long, deep breaths. Aligning with that slow energy of nature as the seasons just take their time. Good. And then let the arms turn outward, softly rounding through the arms, just landing in this pose, keeping a little bend in the knees. And open up the palms to the air around you. Feeling the soles of the feet spread out and sink a little deeper into the floor. Just a couple breaths in this pose, letting the air flow down from the chest into the belly. Inhale, expanding in all directions. Exhale, coming back to that place deep in the belly center. And two more like this. Breathing into the space around you. One more even deeper breath. And on the exhale, root even further into the feet. Up with the arms on the inhale. And we'll take a cleansing breath. So the palms face down, imagining the hands like a filter, filtering out through the feet, any lingering energy. And taking a cleansing breath, gathering fresh new energy. So a few of these deep cleansing breaths, clear out the space around you, clearing through the mind, the voice, the heart, the belly. One more. Letting the arms land at the sides, and then starting a gentle bounce. And just imagine you're shaking off, again, any lingering stuff from last year, just lightly letting it fall to the ground. Continuing to take some deep breaths. And you could take this side to side if you want. Letting just things dangle off the arm. Anything loose, letting it release side to side. Good, come back to the center, shake the arms out and all the way up. Letting the whole body give a little bit lighter. Deep breath in. And then finish with some swings of the arms. Letting anything left just toss away behind you. And keep the body just finding stillness here. Take a deep breath, roll the shoulders back a few times. Good. Cross the wrists and gently flex the wrists. Open up a big circle out and then cross the wrist again. So a few deep breaths. Inhale, expand. Exhale, cross. And I call this clearing the lens. So imagine the palms are just wiping clear the lens of perception. So you can get a fresh clear look at life today. Open out, just wiping, cleansing, clearing. And then land the arms at shoulder height, palms up, taking a couple breaths in this powerful pose, sending the energy from your heart down the legs, out the arms, and up the top of your head. Deep breaths here. Good. And then you're going to turn your left foot, so I'll mirror you. Turn your left foot to the left wall. So just kind of swivel on the heel, left foot out, and just slightly bend into that leg. I should be mirroring you, but if I'm not, just make sure you're turning to your left. So we're kind of like in a very high lunge. Feeling open and light through the heart, feeling grounded through both feet. And then turn the palms down, look over your left arm. We're kind of in a high warrior two here. And the left represents your past. So just taking a glance far off into the distance of this past year. And seeing anything you're really releasing just further and further, traveling away from that timeline. Whatever were the gifts and blessings from last year, let them draw back in through the fingers, back through your arm, into your heart. Good. And turn those foot forward, lift the arms up through a prayer. Bring that down to the heart. One more time. Open up the arms out, palms up at the heart. And then we'll go the other way. So turning to your right, turn the right foot to face the right wall. Bend into that knee just a bit. You don't want to pass the toes. Turn the palms down, look over the left. I'm sorry, look over your right. Gosh, it's my left, your right. So you get the idea. Moving to the other direction, looking into your future. Far off through the year, placing whatever you're calling in, your highest soul's path out on that timeline. You might get a sense of where it's falling on the timeline, or you just might just shoot it off to land where it's meant to be, trusting the timing. Seeing far off as you'd like into the distance. And when you're ready, straighten that leg, turn the toes forward, and one more time, deep breath up through the heart. Praying that prayer, landing the heart, hands at the heart space, let the thumbs rest on the sternum, connecting back into your present moment. Back into your heart. Placing the hands on the heart now. Let the arms relax down. Send that grounding energy through the belly, down each leg, out through the feet. And just thanking yourself for beginning your year with such presence and kindness to yourself. Letting the arms slowly go down to the belly. Open the eyes if they were closed, and we'll take one more cleansing breath. Arms up and down, letting them land at the sides. Feeling that bright heart energy radiate in all directions. As you get ready to find your seat again. Thank you all.
All right, I hope you enjoyed the Qigong session. Now, if you don't have a pen and a paper, this would be a good time to go and get that. If you don't have a pen and the paper, we're going to switch the mics up for a moment. Okay. Now let's see if we're all hooked up. Okay. Cool. Can everybody hear us okay? Audio good? Awesome. 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 So one of the things I was thinking about in how we learn, and how we learn here is I feel like the greatest growth opportunity comes from when we face the adversity, and the universe kind of throws us these challenges. And sometimes it feels like it's too much. But eventually we learn um, that there's enough inside of us and enough around us to get us through that adversity. So these questions are designed to kind of like take a look at the last year, see what our biggest challenge was, make sure we kind of grasp the lesson, make sure we implement it in our behaviors so we could really attract what we want and really shed that final layer of old skin, right? And kind of like wash our hands of it, that final layer of old fear, so we could crystallize what we really want in our soul, call it forth, and really experience it and ground it in and anchor it in here. So let's see what time we got. All right, it's 11:20. So we're going to dive right in. We're going to start to get into these questions. Okay, some of the questions you could write down the answers on a piece of paper, and then some of them I'm going to prompt you to put your answers into the chat because we're going to talk about it. Okay, so the first one is, what was my biggest challenge of 2025, right? You want to identify that number one biggest thing, right? And I shared earlier a little bit about our year, and there was just like a lot of personal health stuff in our family that was really um, challenging. Here, I got another one for you here. You want? So let's just identify and write down what that biggest challenge was. Hmm. That one thing. And if you just joined, we're writing down on a piece of paper what the biggest challenge was that we faced in 2025. Our biggest challenge. Now, as we're going through this process, if anyone is having a really strong emotional reaction, right? We always kind of rate our stress and our emotional reaction from like a 1 to a 10. A 10 being really strong, like on the verge of tears or really feeling upset. So if you are feeling like a strong emotional reaction just from thinking about that biggest challenge, you could raise your hand and we could do a little bit of um, coaching, right? You could do a little bit of laser coaching to help you release some of that emotional pain. If not, we're just going to keep on going through the questions and get through it. Okay. So if everyone has their biggest challenge written down, uh, Sandy, I see you raised your hand. Did you want to come off mute for a second? Was there anything you wanted to talk through? If not, that's okay. All right. So now, this next question, after we, have what was our biggest challenge, the next question is really important. You think about that challenge, right, from almost like an objective standpoint. Right now we're in 2026. You're looking back on the last year at that challenge, right? Almost like you're looking at it through a looking glass, right? objectively, breathing deeply and slowly. If you have any anxiety in your body, just embracing it, touching it with your hands, if you could reach it, breathing into the tension in your body, just to unlock and release any residual tension that's associated with that challenge. And really thanking the universe for freeing that old fear from your body right now. Embracing it with the breath, releasing a little bit more of any residual tension. And now seeing that challenge from last year a little bit clearer and asking yourself, what did my soul want me to learn from that experience? I want you to not write, I just want you to just sit back and just ask yourself that question. Looking at that whole experience, that entire challenge, what did my soul want me to learn from that experience? And just get quiet and see if an answer comes. And keep coming back to your breath. If you haven't gotten an answer yet, just say, thank you, universe, for the answer. The lesson I take away from that entire experience is, and let the universe fill in the blank. Breathe a little deeper and raise your hand if you got an answer, if you think you have an answer. Cool. All right, so can we start to put our answers in the chat? So if you could just type in your answer in the chat, right? The lesson my soul wanted me to learn, if you could just type it into the chat, that would be awesome. And if you're having trouble accessing the chat, Margaret, if you're having trouble accessing the chat, you could, if you want to come off mute, you could just share what you feel your soul's lesson was. So to come off of mute, you would just go to the mic button and just tap where it's like, there you go.
That's easier than dealing with the chat. I used to be able to use the chat just great, but I've gotten some updates
Yes.
and it's now throwing me for a loop and I can't do it fast enough.
Isn't that annoying when the updates, they make you get the update and all of a sudden they move everything and it's like,
Yeah. And I go, wait a minute, this is saying that. No, I don't want that. Anyway, all right. My answer, and you want the answer, I don't have to tell you what the biggest challenge was necessarily, right?
Correct.
Or
Correct. You don't have to say that, but what do you feel the lesson that your soul wanted you to learn
to
from that
trust, to trust love, to trust my love, and to trust that I am loved. I'm not going to do the wrong thing and suddenly have no love, not be loved.
Margaret,
Yes.
I got to tell you, you ever go into like a magic show and then you think someone from the audience was a plant?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they said the perfect thing with the magician. You just said the perfect thing. It's almost like you were a plant. I think the universe planted you here.
Hey, I am at the universe's beck and call if it wants to plant me.
So can you, okay, so you said trusting love.
Yeah. Trust that my love, I just, when I love, I love, I love. Trust
Yeah.
that I love, trust that I am loved. And I'm not, so that I'm not trying to do, I'm not trying to do or say the perfect thing or that I'm afraid if I don't do or say the perfect thing, I will lose love.
Wow. And where does the love come from?
Um, oh my gosh. I mean, I was going to say, uh,
inside or
my
out.
heart or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's everywhere. But then I went, no, it's like, ooh, lower down. And then also it's kind of like all around me. I mean, that's why I say it's both what everywhere.
That's amazing. Again, I think you are a plant from the universe. Okay, so the love is the fabric of the universe, right? It's the fabric.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, 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 yeah.
everywhere, right? And when I first asked you that, I was like thinking like internally, because I always go to right here, and I saw that
Hmm.
you had that gut reaction of going towards your heart, right? And it's like, if it's coming from me, could I ever lose it? Because it's literally coming from me, right? So
Right,
it's
right, right.
impossible to lose it, right? It's
No,
not,
only to block it.
yeah, we can only momentarily forget that it is us and all around us
Hmm.
because we get overwhelmed, right?
Hmm.
With stress or emotional stuff, right?
Hmm.
But it's just temporary. So I love that I love that you shared that. Thank you so much for coming off mute and sharing that lesson with us. That is, I feel, such a powerful lesson to remember to trust love that it's all around us and it is us, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Phyllis, I see your hand is up.
Yeah.
Did you want to share your
I,
lesson?
yes, I learned to listen from the deepest part of my heart versus a person's eloquent words, to measure the words from how it was received within my heart.
Can you share a little bit more about that?
I found that I got caught up in a person's amazing personality, but by the time that journey took along a course, the depth and the truth wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty that appeared to be there wasn't there. It was something else.
Mm. And then what did you find?
I found that chaos came into my life and peace was disrupted and truth got muddled.
And
And
then,
then and then I was stuck in a situation that I couldn't, when you want someone gone, but you're so embedded in it because you missed all the signs. That's what happened to me.
it sounds like someone came into your life, right? Does anyone else have stuff like this? Someone comes into your life, it feels really good, you let them in, and then they create some kind of chaos. Is that what it was like, Phyllis?
Yes. Yes.
So can you reiterate the lesson that you learned from that? Because I feel like that happens to all of us because the world is just a nutty place or like a bag of mixed nuts. You know what I mean? So, can you tell me what the lesson was that you pulled out again, just to reiterate that?
But the lesson that I learned is, as the lady spoke about truth and trust, I learned to trust what my inner man was telling me, no matter how good it looked. Trust the inner man and believe what the universe is bringing as knowledge and wisdom to the situation. And then trust what needs to be done to peacefully separate from that thing that will eventually become a long lasting toxicity.
Hmm. And then for me, as different people come into my life, I try to just really listen to those inner strings. You know what I mean? If I have like these inner emotional chords that run up and down here, just
Mm-hmm.
listening to that inner pluck, that inner vibration, you know,
Yes.
and that inner vibration is really good for me as far as like navigating. Like, do I take this relationship deeper? You know, things could look great on the outside, you know, but how is it, what feeling is it eliciting from the inside, you know?
Yes.
And I feel like navigating in 2026 and beyond is really looking at or really paying more attention to what's happening in here. Like
Yes.
this is our inner GPS,
Yes.
you know, the inner GPS. Awesome. So thank you so much for sharing that. Um, yeah, appreciate you. So yeah, Okay, Sarah, I see you have your hand raised. Yeah.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, yeah. Here you go.
Happy New Year. I'm so happy to be here with you both and with the whole group. Yay. Such a
Happy New
great
Year.
cause.
We made
I
it through
really believe in your
2025.
work. Yeah. Yay. Um, okay, I just wanted to briefly say that what I learned. So last year I had this housing thing. I've been living in this house for a decade, and then they sold the house to an affordable housing place, and it's very political, and there's a 10-year waiting list, blah, blah. And I was really worried because I live in California and the housing market's tough, and bottom line is it took me 11 months, but I won and I got to stay in the apartment, which is really great. But that was terrifying, that 11 months housing insecurity. And while I was going through that, so the bottom line is trust. That was my answer immediately. It was trust, trusting the universe, trusting that I'm cared about, and the idea that we are love, we are a spark of the divine love. We have that spark. So that is the essence of who we are. Anyway, so we are loved, we are protected. But anyway, yeah, that was amazing. And then the other thing that happened was I got a grant to get a paralegal certificate and I got straight A's and I went through this whole thing with that and that was wonderful. But there was other money for housing because I wasn't working. I was basically for 9 months just in school, first year law. And there were a couple times where the money was cut off, and suddenly I was like, not only do I not know where I'm going to be living permanently, but also I don't have rent. And then I needed to prove that I had enough money to stay in this apartment. So that was a huge leap of trust also, of like manifesting the money and somehow getting straight A's and really mastering the legal material, which I wound up doing. It all worked out. Straight A's, got the funding, did the law school, didn't have to pay for it, and got the certificate. It was just a total blessing. It was a lot of hard work. But yeah, I guess what I learned also is how strong I am. Even when things are really hard, when you fight to win, you win. So even if it's like health challenges or whatever it is, I mean, we have this incredible power that we can harness and to overcome everything. So, yay.
That is just beautiful. And like a housing crisis brings up our core fear, right? Of not
Yes.
having a roof over our head. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that, talk about Year of the Snake, releasing old fears, fears of not having a place to live. That like could shake us to the bone. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like I've been through all kinds of tragedies over the years. I'm in my late 50s, but that was the scariest thing, not feeling like, oh my God, where am I going to go? Where am I going to put my antique? Do I have to move in with my ex-boyfriend in Colorado? I don't want to do that. Like it was really scary.
Mhm. Wow. So trust was
Trust.
a really big thing. And so that appears to be like a little bit of a theme so far. So I just had a thought of something I like to reflect on whenever my trust is being challenged is, right now we're in winter in New York, there's snow on the ground, it's icy. And then I reflect on the fact that somehow without arms, legs, eyes, anything, earthworms survive the winter. How does that happen? Right? How does it happen? How do earthworms, how are they cared for? They can't see, they have no arms, they have no legs, right? It's like a miracle. And then I think, well, okay, the universe cares for earthworms. Why would it not care for us?
Yeah.
Why would it not care for us? And maybe these lessons in trust are just enlightening us over time, and we're just learning to fall in love with the universe again, learning to rely on it and how to work with it,
Mhm.
And I love what you said about, you were focused on winning, you were focused on things, but your actions were aligned with that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like studying hard, getting the
Yeah.
straight A's, really
Yeah.
diving in, sinking your teeth into the program. Like,
Oh, it was 10 hours a day of study, 7 days a week. I mean, sometimes 6 days, but it was really 10. It was like I've never studied that hard. I got my master's in film at UCLA, and that was like kindergarten. That was
wow,
nothing. This was
wow,
hard,
that's
but it doesn't
amazing.
matter. I mean, whatever we want to achieve, I really believe it's possible. We just need to get out of our own way. I know it sounds simple, and it is.
It, yes, so it's as simple as we make it, right?
Right.
And Stephanie and I were going on a walk a few years ago, and she said, anyone could do anything. And I was like, oh my God, I love that. Anyone could do anything.
That's right. That's right.
Remember that walk? And that was like a huge light bulb that went off in my head, and I reflect on that whenever the universe challenges me with like a career thing or even an
Yeah.
interpersonal thing. I'm like, anyone could do anything. So, and then I was listening to a reel on Instagram from Alan Watts, and it was about healing can be instantaneous. And the illusion is that it takes time. All it is our decision. We have to make a decision.
It's
So
perception.
yes, so the decision impacts like our subconscious, which impacts our ability to perceive situations when we make that inner decision,
Right.
right? So when we're in the state of limbo, before we make that decision, that's the length of time that it takes to heal. You know what I mean? But when we say, I want this, I'm ready for this,
You're
this is
right.
the
Once
time
we
when I
make the
want it.
decision, that's the uh, action is the point of all being. It's that, yeah,
Love that. Yeah, I love that. And then once we make the decision, it's like the subconscious, the inner troop, right? The universal armies that are operating on our behalf, right? That whole like whatever you want to call it, guardian
all our
angels, everything.
protons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going down to the atoms and the molecules, they start to vibrate on that. And then
That's right.
everything starts to fill in around us as long as we're acting in alignment with it. So yeah, so glad that you shared that and love to hear that story of victory, coming through 2025, rolling into 2026 with more trust, more knowing, that the universe has us,
I
and
think the last time I spoke with you, I was in that fear, that financial fear, that where am I going to live thing, freaking out. I can't remember how long ago. It was quite a while. So it's fun
Mhm.
to come back and say, hey, I made it
Yeah,
to the other side of that challenge.
it's awesome. It's awesome. I love it. Does anyone else want to share what their lesson was that their soul wanted them to learn from that challenge from 2025? Does anyone else want to share? You could just put your hand up or come off mute if you want to. Just gonna read through. Oh, Michelle. Yeah.
Hello there.
Hi.
Um, yeah, this year was a really big growth year for me. Just knowing that when I take my attention from like 100 things and start putting it down into, the few things that are important, there's just immense opportunity. And what really came up for me, like through my struggles was uh my my financial situation as I was not open to receiving. I was giving away too much for free, wanting to help everybody, and and donating money and giving money away, as well as giving my services and my products away for free. And when I um, started putting intention and focus on my finances, and actually getting some financial literacy through that, and studying on it, like how to build my budget, how to do a reconciliation, how to like make sure that both personally I'm supported, me first, and being able to build my business financially. If I don't know where my money's going, then I don't know um, what I need to do next.
Mhm.
So like financially, this year was a huge thing, and it was being able to cut out and simplify life, like all the different distractions and things that were taking up my time, and whittle it down to the things that are important, and then building my foundation underneath me, supporting me first. And I do that well with, um, having sacred space and having stillness in my life and having all these things, but I wasn't taking care of myself first financially. And so that was a big lesson I learned this year.
That's a huge one. If you could hone it, what do you feel like the core lesson is? If you could get it into a sentence or phrase.
Um, Intention, I guess, like
Mhm.
putting my intention where it's important.
Mm. And, talking about finances, I feel like I, the words you said echoed throughout me in the last, 25 years of doing this. And it's like, a relationship that I feel like I'm always going to be evolving and growing with. And it's knowing that we can only give what we've really received. And when our cup is overflowing is where we could really start to share a lot,
Mm.
when our cup is overflowing. But we have to put our cup under the faucet first in order to do that, to get it to overflow, you know? And then if it's overflowing, we could put 10 cups underneath it, and all those cups can grab the overflow. You could put 100 under there, 1,000,000 under there, but yours has to be receiving and overflowing in order to share. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we could only give, again, what we have, what we've received. Yeah. So I'm so glad you shared that. There was a cool thing that happened a few weeks ago. I was watching another, I guess you could tell that I watch Instagram. So another reel on Instagram, and it was a really short one about money and wealth. And the person was saying, when we try to figure out how to manifest money, we're actually overcomplicating things. He said, just get quiet, go into a meditative space, and just think of the word wealth. So I did it, right? And there was a few other words. We could try it right now if you want to. So we just kind of like, if you have any tension in your body, touch it, embrace it, breathe into it. Feel the airflow kind of center inside your body. Bringing some more ease in. And then you just think of the word wealth and you breathe. And if you're having any resistance in your body, you breathe into that. And you release it with the breath and the touch. Wealth. Now your brain is like a mushroom field in your backyard, just popping up with bustling new ideas, right? So you let the brain do its magic. And the brain is like a micro version of the universe, right? The universe is the macro, the brain's the micro. And when you're just thinking wealth, those little ideas and those new neural pathways, they're just kind of opening up, and you just let the subconscious and the superconscious do the thing. Wealth. And without any of our conscious mind doing anything, we just let it grow. And then when you feel like you have made a shift there, then you go to the word success. And you breathe, receiving the airflow. Success. And sometimes you get a flash of what success looks like for you when you're doing this, almost like the TV screen just shows you an image. Success. And after you feel like the mushroom field is populated there, automatically, naturally, then you go to the word money. Breathing, identifying any areas of tension, releasing it from your body with your touch and your breath. Money. And letting your subconscious do the work. The brain is the most magnificent supercomputer there is, right? So we're just letting it do its thing on the subconscious level. Now, the freaking craziest thing happened the day after I did that exercise. So a year ago, I spoke at the Trauma Super Conference for the first time. I was trying to get in there for like 2 years. They let me in. So then this year, they sent me an email, and I just replied to it. They were promoting this year's Trauma Super Conference, which is happening at the end of this month. And I said, hey, I would love to do it again. And they responded back, this is the day after doing this exercise. They said, we actually have you doing it again. We're using last year's talk because it was so good. And we forgot to pay you for last year. So we're sending you a PayPal. What's your email address for your PayPal?
Oh my God.
So it was, the stuff is just, it's funny how it works, and the universe never ceases to amaze me. There was one other unexpected area of income that came in, like spur of the moment, just like that the following day. And I'm like, now I'm thinking like, why don't I just do that every day? But it's important, to use the supercomputer for what it does and the miraculousness that it is. It is aligned with the universe through the subconscious mind, right? So we're always trying to figure stuff out. It's almost like if you're doing this big backyard landscaping project, let's say your whole property, and you're out there with a little hand shovel, but you have all of these, you have a bulldozer back there, you have, right? You have an excavator, you have all this machinery, and then you have the expert team that knows how to use those machines to do all the work. And you could just sit there and go, I want that tree there, that big rock there, that, and you don't have to use this little hand shovel anymore, right? So when we just get quiet, we give the idea to the brain, we let the brain do its magic, work its magnificence, right? And then we just release the tension we have around that idea. So now we're starting to vibrate in that frequency. So super cool. If there's,
For that.
yeah.
Oh, as everyone was talking, I feel so much resonance and things I'd like to share and reflect. But on this topic, I came across a really incredible concept, which is that the idea of our money, our income, it doesn't come from our job. It doesn't come from other people. It comes from the place everything comes from, which is source. And to just kind of take that edge off it and take that challenge, that little pressure off the money piece. So if we're open to all and we're open to source, and the other image I love is the idea that we're just a drop in the ocean, and every creative capacity and quality and characteristic of the ocean, of the source of the oneness, is in all of us. So kind of merging those two concepts lately a lot, and just relaxing around it, around the doing and the pressure, and opening to miracles like that, right? And surprises, and not thinking we need to have it all figured out, right? Just going with our spark, as I talk a lot about.
If I may, I see those miracles are I don't want to say easy to see, but I always have difficulty with concepts. Will I be able to handle, the fact that this is the year I want to be able to handle the fact that my family is estranged, and not do crazy things regarding that. And I will be all right, and all of that. And then God says, all right, let's check and make sure of that. And all of this icky stuff happened in like 2 days, and it was crazy. And I thought I was going to have to call Brett every hour for like 10 hours. And I resisted. And I said, you know what? No, and I was. I didn't break down. I didn't feel like breaking anything. I didn't jump in my car. I didn't call anybody. I didn't have a drink. I didn't do any of that ugliness. And that's how the universe, my source, showed me, you got this, but you don't give yourself enough credit for nothing, girlfriend. You just keep saying you can't, you can't, you can't. Underneath all your you can, you got to really own it. And I'm going to own it. That's what my lesson was. I can do this, and I will do this, damn it. And yeah, I always need a brick. Nothing is ever subtle with me. So
Thank you so much for sharing that, Kim. And this is like a reoccurring theme in like some of our programs, like some of the mentorship programs. There's an intimate relationship the universe wants to have with you, right? Now, this is like a really cool, intimate relationship the moment that we're having together as a small community, right? Like in a drop in time. But the universe wants you to turn to it. It wants to hear all your issues, all your problems, all your heartaches. And then it wants to empower you so that you know you can do anything that you are going to face for your entire life. And the proof of that is that you're still here. If you reflect on your entire life and all the challenges and all the heartaches and all the times you had to pull yourself back up, you're the living proof, right? Now we just have to believe it.
right.
And beyond belief and having faith, it's knowing it.
Yeah. And so it all comes back to trust, which is what we started with. And I didn't use that word in my answering your questions, but I kept using fear. I'm not going to be afraid. I'm not going to be afraid. Well, that the crux of that is I have to trust. And I think I trust the universe more than I trust me, and you can't have one without the other.
So another thing is understanding how the subconscious uses language. It doesn't know the word not or no or any negative. So when you say I'm not going to be afraid, your subconscious hearing I'm going to be afraid, right? So it's understanding how to always state things in the affirmative. I'm going to do this free of fear. I'm going to do this in full confidence. The universe has me. I know the universe has me. Thank you, universe,
I haven't.
for helping me see that you always have me. And I can leap off of that stone and know that you're going to catch me and know that that next footing is going to be there for me. Thank you. Because you know how this works, right? Sometimes you have to take the step and then the next step is revealed, right? Sometimes you don't have the whole long-term plan laid out in front of you because then the amusement park of this world is not going to be as fun if the whole thing is revealed to you at this, one time, right? Why would God want to come here through these bodies that we're in
Right.
if there's no surprise, no,
Mm.
challenge, right? So we're
Mm.
gonna go to a few more people. Yeah, no, so we're gonna go to a few more people, but we are starting to get low on time. So I want you just to take a moment and gather your thought, try to summarize it, because we do have a few more things to go through in our 4 questions. We're only on number 2, but there was a lot of juice in number 2. Holy cow. So Phyllis, and then we'll go to Allie.
I'll sum it up really quick. And I'm so nervous. I don't want to be offensive, but I refer to God. Is that okay?
Yeah. That's great.
Oh, okay. I just want to say the lady that spoke about her financial challenge and how she got her breakthrough, it stirred something in me. So to make it short, Brett, some 5 years ago, something terrible happened with my Tahoe, the whole situation we talked about.
The
And
car.
here
Yeah.
in 2025, but 2024, my son had an accident, rear end. It was all his fault. We were fully covered. The only thing I could think about was he being okay and the person that he hit. Um, Long story short, the police officer gave him grace. My insurance company gave me grace. They paid out thousands upon thousands for that accident. I just knew I was going to be canceled. That didn't happen, and I had prayed about so many things, being hurt and crying when people use me or bad things happen, or as the lady said, giving away and realizing nothing was coming in. And I just said, Lord, I put all of this in your hands. In that situation, what happened is unbelievable. The insurance company gave me the full value of my Tahoe. I walked into a place. Well, did everything online with the young man, and when I went in, I said, and I was still sad from losing my Tahoe, but the car ended up being a 2024 Cadillac XT6. And I was talking to a friend, and I was so sad about the past. As Stephanie said, everything to the left, leave it there, look forward to the future. And she said something that was so profound. She said, oh my goodness, you will just have to settle for a Cadillac 2023 because your 2015 got wrecked. And it just jolted something in me that where I could have had massive financial problems and legal problems, grace worked everything out and everybody was okay. And that thing that I told you happened to me, Brett, it got resolved in a way that in the grandness of the universe, I couldn't do anything with it. He took the whole problem out of my life and gave me something just as nice. So the lady that spoke, I just want you to know that you didn't just give away and throw away and just everything was this. People will always disappoint us, but the faith that you have in who you believe in what you believe in, and you continue to be who you are, when it starts happening so good for you, you know how it's happening. That's my word.
So thank you so much for sharing that. And there's a thing that I do and I share with folks in the retreats and in our programs is when we feel like it's just too much, you know, and it hurts our head to think about it. We're like, there's no way I could figure out the way out, right? I always just say, Source, right where it's too much to think about, I hand it over to you to figure it all out. And then I go like that, and then we wash our hands, and then boom, done. You know what I'm saying? And something happens on the subconscious, like we were talking about that earlier. The subconscious takes that cue and it just like kicks it over to our higher self, the universe, the fabric, the love, whatever you want to call it. And then it just rains down around us. You know, the answers come in. And, you know, sometimes even though the universe had swapped out a Chevy for a Caddy, sometimes we don't realize it. We can't see that gem yet. And then it took someone else to say, hey, you got a caddy. You got a caddy now. So now often when I find myself on the ground, right? When one door closes, I'm like, oh boy, I actually, even though I might appear like I'm in the gutter on the curb, I have a smile like ear to ear because I know the universe is going to open up a door 10 times bigger than that one that just closed. And that every door closes for a reason. But I'm like, oh boy, I'm just like waiting for it to open. And within usually a short period of time, you know, as long as we're patient, this thing opens up and then you just say yes and you walk through. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And Allie, we'll go to Allie.
Oh, so much, and I won't repeat it all. This is resonating with all of this, and I I see myself. There's a tree, a volunteer tree in the back of it that I'm a nature fanatic. Anyway, this was under a power line, and I feel like I'm that tree which kept trying to come back for years and years and years. I'm going to take action. This is right in front. This is my field, and my field is really small at this point. You know, from trying to get out of things, and this is what I see. So I'm going to grab this and grab that, and so I saw the mushrooms as the reward for just letting things fall, just doing what you just described, and I'm going to continue doing that today. This it is too much. Here, I give it all, and I hit several things, and I find what's coming is gonna come, and I'm just gonna stand. They said, "Okay, take action, do this, do that," and everywhere I was moving was like going into another storm. So the intimacy, the relationship, and I've been resisting that. So I think that's my next journey.
So I'm so glad you brought up the mushroom thing because I just wanted to revisit that really quick. So if anyone ever had a few mushrooms pop up in their yard or right unexpectedly, they come up automatically, right? You didn't plant them there, right? They just pop up. It's like, how the heck did that happen? It happened naturally, right? So when we go into that meditative space and we're not trying to like figure out how to make money, we just give the subconscious the idea, money, success, growth, right? Whatever the words are we want to throw into the field, we let the brain create the images, give us the flashes, give us the inspiration. And whenever I'm coming from need or like stress or force, when I'm to me, look, this world and my life is like a roller coaster ride, right? But whenever I'm coming from force, the roller coaster is going a little bit too quick, right? It's like my heart rate's going, I'm making decisions from there, and then it creates more speed and more kind of like just more chaos. But then when I slow things down by slowing my breath down, throwing my heart rate down, the roller coaster slows down. So even the climb up to the high part of the roller coaster, it's not as scary because my heart rate is calm. And then I could actually see it for what it is. When you're at the top, wow, I could see really far from up here. I got a really grand perspective. So it's always coming back to that slowing the heart rate down, embracing the tension in the body, opening up our perspective so we could see things more clearly, and embracing what's going on in the body. Because it is in direct relationship with what's happening in our physical reality. Think about your heart rate and think about the things that are happening around your life. And then when you throw ideas or things that are challenging you, the heart rate goes up. Well, we just want to release that tension so we could be with that challenge and kind of like wait for our divine intelligence to kick in to say, this is how you handle it. And if our heart rate is calm enough for a long enough period of time, you're going to have that intuition. You're going to have that inspiration. And it's going to start to fill in the blanks around us. So it is 12:02. If anyone has a hot date and you have to go, it's all good. But I think we're going to go a little bit further. Are you good? Do you have anywhere to go?
I'm good.
I hope you don't have a hot date.
Do we need a little standing break? Or a little water break, a little anything?
Anyone want a water break, a quick little 2-minute bathroom
Okay.
break? Because I wanted,
Standing.
yeah.
break.
So Steph, you could bring us through a little bit of a standing thing, and then we're going to get into question 3 and 4, which won't be as long
Okay.
as this, because this is where all the juice was. But we're going to review question 3 and 4.
Yeah. No, just if you want to stand, shake it out. I like the, in addition to the shaking, this this morning's Qigong class, we did a little brushing. So you can also do that kind of just, we were taking those lessons, just anything left over, dusting it off, little pixie sparkles or however you want to picture them. Go down the legs, brush them all the way off the feet. Take another deep breath. You know, there's something really about physically moving energy, right? With our bodies, or it's just our imagery of things moving, getting out of the mind a little bit. So if anyone needs to get a glass of water, take a little bathroom break, be back in under a minute.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
And then we could just do a few affirmations in the meantime. This is always fun. If whoever doesn't have a lot of background noise, feel free to come off of mute if you want to come off of mute, because we'll do a few affirmations together. And it's always a little bit of organized chaos, but it's fun. Let's just say, I love loving
I love
I
loving
love loving
all the old tension
all the
all the
old
old
tension
tension
right out of my body.
Right out of
right
out
out
of
of
my
my
body.
I love
I love
loving me
loving me
unconditionally.
unconditionally.
And then just breathing it in,
Mm.
imagining your heart's opening.
Loving me.
What happened, Sandy?
I discovered the unmute button. I had raised my hand earlier. I can't remember, but somebody moaned. 2025. Goodbye.
Yeah.
It's a new day.
2025.
Yeah.
Where are you located? Where's everybody located?
I'm
I'm
in
in
Rockland. Where's
Connecticut.
everybody? Rockland, New York. We could put in.
Oh, okay. I'm in Connecticut. So did you get all white, snowy?
Yeah.
That was beautiful. And it's gorgeous now.
It's beautiful
Yeah.
out. It really is.
Mm.
Yeah, we
It's
had a
incredible.
really nice white Christmas and a white New Year. Really
New
cool.
Year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Spanish Harlem, that's Owen.
Hi, Owen. How do I get it back on gallery or put it on gallery and then change it to speaker? Because I can't see. I think I just exited. Okay, have it on gallery. How do I change it to whoever's speaking so I can see?
Maybe if you go to view up top on your computer, like
It's not there. It's I'm using one of those. I have a laptop and a phone, and I don't know how to use it on this tablet.
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't have a tablet. Okay, so we have Michelle in Ontario. Beautiful winter wonderland. Dutchess County. Kim's in the Hudson Valley. Sherry's in Michigan.
Huh?
Awesome. So we're going to get rolling into our next segment, which is
Mhm.
what behaviors, this is a big one. What behaviors shows I absolutely learned that lesson? So just reflect on the lesson, right, that you learned from 2025. Because here's the deal. Many years ago, I'm going like 20 years ago, I went into this big workshop in Manhattan. There was probably like 800 people there, right? It was like a famous speaker was coming in. It was like a spiritual guy, right, doing a talk. So many people were there. I thought the talk was great. And I walked out, and this guy walked out. I was probably like 30 at the time. He was about 50 at the time. He walks out. He's really frustrated. And he's like, I heard it all before. Nothing was new, right? And I remember thinking like, wow, he definitely didn't embody the lesson because he's going to continue to hear it. You know what I mean? Over and over and over again until it's in the body. And I always think it's like, until the lesson reflects in our behaviors, the universe is going to continue pinging us with that lesson until we really embody it, right? And I always feel like emotionally embodying it, my 5-year-old has to understand the lesson. It has to be like palpable for a 5-year-old. Trust. I feel like the theme today was trust, right? I'm protected. I'm cared for. I'm going to act with the universe. I'm going to trust the universe is there. I'm going to love the universe. I'm going to trust love. Love's the fabric of the universe, right? So think about your lesson, the thing that you pulled out from 2025, that lesson. How can that lesson show up in your behaviors, your day-to-day behaviors? What does that look like? Take a moment to think about that. And you could write it down in the chat. Why don't you write it down on the paper first? And once you kind of hone it, then let's put it into the chat, because I would love to see what we come up with here and what comes out here. How do the behaviors, how does that lesson impact our behaviors? Our daily behaviors. This is where we're taking it to the next level. And let me know if anyone has an answer for question 3 yet. So, I'll give you an example, right? So the biggest challenge for me was around personal health, right? For family members. And the lesson I took away was we're eternal beings and this is temporary. That was my lesson. And the way it impacts my behavior is that when I get worked up and I start to feel the emotions from those challenging personal health issues, right? Or family health issues, I embrace, I breathe into the emotions that I'm having, I express them, and then I come back to we're eternal beings. We're eternal, and this is all temporary. We're eternal. And what that does is it allows me to love those around me that I'm worried about, to just let the love come through the best it possibly can, right? Because for me, when my stress was talking, it wasn't adding anything good to the situation, but the love creates goodness. The love creates goodness. So that's just an example of how it hits my behavior, how that lesson impacts my behavior, right? Instead of coming from stress, and the stresses are really warranted, right? It's not like I'm having stress over, having a quarter tank of gas. I'm like really stressed about major things, right? Things, people that I love. But when I come from stress, that roller coaster goes faster and faster and faster, and it starts whipping me around, and then that starts affecting those around me negatively. So really coming back to the breath and remembering We are eternal and this is temporary. We're eternal. This is temporary, right? So what do you have? Does anybody have some ideas or answers for question 3? Sherry said, thank you for sharing your doggy too.
It's got a little sweater.
Oh, I said,
I'll share
oh,
that.
nice,
Oh,
Margaret.
Bella.
Oh, yes, Michelle. Yeah, what do you got?
I'll just share that I'm very much on top of my budget now. I have a plan for future saving, a plan for debt recovery, and a plan for just like every dollar has a job, and it feels good to be on top of that. So that's how I'm showing that I've learned my lesson.
That's awesome. And there's a saying, an Islamic saying, praise Allah and tie up your camel. So like, praise God, praise the universe, love God, but take care of the responsibilities, right? Take care of the things that you're responsible for. So that's
Yeah,
what I feel you're doing. And I would imagine that you feel like more confident and like on sure footing, you know, going into the new
definitely.
year. That's awesome. That's awesome. And we'll go to Sandy and then we'll go to Phyllis.
Um, I'm I let me just see what I answered. I wrote everything you said with number 3 and how does it impact my behavior? And I've been staying present and realizing, you can't change people, so what can I do to affect everything? And I get sad when I think about the past stuff and I get really anxious about future stuff, like similar to what I think you're saying about family members and health and my own and stuff like that. And the solution is stay in the present, but then I actually am struggling with number 3 because staying in the present, this is happening now. So I can slow my breath and realize this is temporary, but it's really hard in the moment. Like, let's say you're trying to help a family member, like in your example, and you're not getting anywhere with how how you have to be on top of all things medical, or you have to initiate everything and be so proactive. Or if I have to get things done and there's like a crisis every day, I'm just struggling with okay, I'm present and it's happening now. So I can, I have an entire wall with everything I should be thinking, and I keep referring back to it. Like if it's a difficult person, am I going to change anything? No, so walk away. But when you're in the present and you're like, this is all happening right now, do you have any advice for?
Yeah, so there's a few things that come up. I always think of 2 bus drivers, right? One bus driver, and they have the same route. One drives on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. One drives on Tuesday, Thursday. The Tuesday, Thursday driver is really stressed out. The Monday, Wednesday, Friday driver hits all of the stops on time, takes it nice and easy, says hi to each person that gets on the bus, is breathing as they're driving. The Tuesday, Thursday driver is stressed out, hitting red lights, upset, not saying hi, right? But they're both getting to their stops at the same time. So it's like, it's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it, right?
So you're wasting the energy. The upset is just a waste of fuel.
The greatest service you can be is sharing from a state of love, right? With your heart open. So what I try and do is check in on myself. Is my heart open or my heart closed now? So it's opening the heart, coming from love, and there's a divine intelligence that comes through the center of love. There's a divine intelligence energy in the universe that when our heart's open, we tap into it and it could come through us. And it gives us different approaches and different outcomes to certain situations when our heart's open. So it's how you're doing it. And I found the best way to help a loved one is to have come from an open heart and let the divine intelligence come through. I'm going to give you a quick story from 2025. A loved one got cancer, right? I was scared to death. Okay. And so many years ago, I was a recruiter. So what did I do? I expressed all my feelings. I cried. And then this is even before we found their surgeon, their doctor, the whole team. right? So I did an AI search. I had an inspirational thought to do an AI search of who is the best surgeon in the world for that kind of cancer. This doctor came up in California. I called the office. I said, who's like you, but in New York? They gave us a referral to the chief head surgeon of breast cancer surgery at MSK in New York City. That was the surgeon that did the surgery. And it was like amazing, right? So I just kind of like expressed my feelings, let out, right, in the privacy without like sharing all that with the person, right, with the loved one. And then I tuned into my own divine intelligence, opened my heart, let the love come through, and then the divine inspiration, divine intelligence worked through me, gave me those inspirations, and then it set off a cascade of events to allow us to arrive to have this surgery done by the chief of Memorial Sloan Kettering. You know what I'm saying?
I had a
So,
similar, I know exactly what you're saying because I had the same thing when I had cancer, like myself.
mhm.
But there are certain situations where you keep beating your head against the wall, and you even have empathy for this person behaving this way is has situations of their own that I understand they're dealing with, but then you keep hitting a you keep hitting a roadblock, and there's just more and more aggression coming at you. And there's no way to change it. That person feels this way. This is the reality. And I embrace what is, it's happening. This is real. And then how do you go on for that when you need that person
I'm
and
gonna
you're coming up against that like a rock?
I'm gonna share I'm gonna share this in the chat. If you could download it, it's gonna be an image of how to go about it. Um, just give me 1 second. Actually, I'm gonna put,
Yeah.
to make it easier, I'm gonna put this little booklet in there and you could download it. Where is it? Give me one sec. Here it is. Okay. So what I'm putting in here is the Suicide Prevention Family Handbook. The first chapter shows us how to be present when someone is in front of us, a loved one that is experiencing a lot of emotion, whether that's anger, frustration, sadness, right? Rage. Okay. I'm going to actually open up and share my screen so I could show you the simple technique that's in that. So, but I want you to download that. I'm going to share
Trying
this.
to figure out how to work this device without.
And I'll send an email out after with everyone.
Oh, that'll be really helpful. Okay, I'm going to
Okay.
go back to the screen because I can't figure out how to work this thing.
So just, can you see that? Can you see those bubbles right there?
Lost you right now. Hold on.
Let me know if you could see what I'm sharing. Can everyone see what I'm sharing?
I'm trying to get back. Oh, wait, I think. Oh, the title, the blue cover with the ribbon.
Yes, that's the book, but
Okay.
I'm gonna walk you through. So when we have someone in front of us that's really upset, especially a loved one, because our loved ones we have deep generational and sometimes ancestral karma with. All right. These are deep issues that kind of crunch on top of each other and they interlock. So they'll say this, we'll say this, and it just gets worse and worse and worse, like two squirrels fighting or like a ping pong game, right? So these 5 prompts, if you do the 5 prompts on the left and you just listen to the other person, it disengages the argument because you put down your ping pong paddle. So if 2 people are playing ping pong and one person puts down the paddle, the ball goes off the table and the game is over. So this is how you put your ping pong paddle down. Let's say someone's coming at you with a lot of aggression. Let's say you're hearing, it's all your fault, and they're really upset with you. I just want you to lean in gently and just say, please tell me more. Okay. Then you're going to let them say whatever they're going to say. They could speak for 5 seconds or 5 minutes or an hour. You're just going to lean in.
Let them.
You're going to let them. Yeah, that Mel Robbins book, just let them talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're just going to lean in. You're going to answer with your body language, right? You could nod your head to show you're listening. You could raise your eyebrows. You could squint sincerely. If you're feeling any pain in your body, touch it and breathe into it. Okay. If they ask you why you're touching your chest, you say, I really feel what you're saying. Then when they're done talking, you're going to say, I want to hear everything. And now they're going to talk some more. When they're done talking, then you're going to say, what's the hardest part to talk about? And now you're going to start getting somewhere with them. So if you could get to that place, right? And then just say, I'm so sorry. I had no idea you felt this way. And then you're releasing the tension from your body. You're opening up your heart. Now, the love that is coming through you subconsciously is going to help jumpstart their heart, because all hearts want love. Just like if someone's on the side of the road and their battery went dead, and then someone pulls over next to them with the jumper cables, this is an emotional jumper cable to restart the heart with unconditional love. Okay. So I want you to play with this. All right. This technique is in the first chapter of the PDF I put in the chat. Okay. So download it from the chat, save it on your desktop, and then, review it in your spare time. All right.
But you're going to email it too, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to send
Okay.
out an email to everyone that registered for
Thanks.
our, time here today. All right, cool. Now, someone else have a hand up around how their lesson can show up in their behavior, right? Because when it shows up in our behavior, the lesson that we learned, the universe knows we learned that lesson, right? And then we are on the next step of the game. We get into the next phase of the game of life, right? This evolution, right? So I'll give you an example. What Margaret had shared in the very beginning, to trust that the love is all around us, that it's in us and all around us, to trust. So a way to let that lesson impact is like when fear comes up, it's like embracing it. Say, hey, you know what? Talking to the fear, embracing it like it's a friend, right? Embracing it like it's a friend. And think the love is in and all around us. Love is all we'll ever be throughout all eternity. It's the fabric of the universe. It is us. So kind of like embracing the fear so that the fear doesn't take you on a ride too long, right? So you've merged that new consciousness, the lesson, with the fear in reality, in the physical reality, right? So does anyone else have any ideas on how they could merge their lesson that they learned in 2025 into their behaviors? So the universe knows, okay, Lori's got that lesson. Mary Lou's got it. Debbie's got it. Juan's got it. Kelly's got it, right? They know they got that lesson. Any other ideas how your lesson can be implemented? Yeah, Kim.
I find with little things, I mean, what you've always said, embrace, fear, embrace the things that, lack of confidence. So, yeah, I've learned to talk to it, sun is driving you crazy, so let's go out in the sun. The way I want, without fear of ridicule. I all of a sudden break out into a song I like in ShopRite. And if people, and I'm not judged. People will see me dancing and just dance with me. It's not like, who's that crazy lady? Somebody called the paddy wagon or something. And in doing that, I keep balloons in my car all the time. And if I see somebody sad,
Kim, we're starting to
with
lose you a
me.
little bit. Your audio's going in and out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. If you go off video, we might get good audio. Sometimes that happens. It takes less bandwidth.
Do I know how to do that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just hit there you go.
Okay.
Now let's see.
So just by doing the little things and staying true to me in little ways, you know what? Oh, nobody would think of I made snow angels on all of my neighbors' front lawns. They got up in the morning, they're looking around like, what the hell happened here? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is so
Yeah, but they were all looking around and happy, and the kids were dancing on them, and I just did it because I felt like doing it. And I've never given myself that freedom. I've always had to have good decorum. I mean, my husband is an elected official. My father was an elected official. So I always had to walk around like, oh, be politically correct and do everything right. No, I want to just be me, for heaven's sakes. And I've earned that.
You have. And who gave you permission to do that, Kim?
Me.
Booyah. Right there. There's the answer. We
I
give
always
ourselves the
had it, but
permission.
I never took it because I
Mm.
trusted the universe, the people, the ground more than I trusted me and God. How dare I? And it's so much better. It's not all the time, but I'm working on that.
Yeah. So trusting you, trusting God. This world becomes a little bit more like a playground the more we trust ourselves and God.
Yeah.
You know, it creates a lot more room to play in it, and it kind of like starts to melt away the stress when we really start to have that intimate relationship with ourselves and God, which to me is the same thing, sidebar. Um, yeah, we start to be more like children. We allow that little inner spark to come out and play, which brings more joy and more happiness, not just to us, but the people around us. So, Kim, I want to be your neighbor. Yeah, Steph and I are looking in the Hudson Valley, so maybe we'll be neighbors soon. Um, awesome. Now, did anyone else have anything to add on to how we could let the lesson really soak into our behaviors in 2026? Yes, Phyllis.
Is that question number 3?
Yes.
Are we smart? Okay. To continue to be generous without judgment, but not to a fault, by believing in my faith in Jesus, that I am so small and so temporary before heaven that my very end depends on his grace. And I'm not being frivolous, but when things are so out of my control and they turn out so well for everyone, it's not something I did. That's my number 3.
That's beautiful. And it's really, to me, comes down to he's got me or she's got me, however you refer to the universe, your God, they've got me. They got me. They got my back, right? They got
Yes.
my back, my front, my above, my below, every part of me, and knowing in that, really deep knowing in that. Allie, I see your hand is up. Did you have something that you wanted to share on question 3?
Yes, discernment of how I'm spending my time. Is it valuable to me? Not necessarily KPI in business terms. Uh, is that really valuable to me, or is it FOMO, fear of missing out on other things or distracting? And speaking of distraction, though, to turn it in my favor, I'd been frustrated of being behind in some studies and not finding, and I realize now that it is my blinders.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I hadn't found it. So I had picked up a book and I'm really enjoying it. I took time for it. And I went to the computer and what I needed was right there. And so I'm going to make more snow angels from here on out. That's that's my conclusion.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I want to.
2 contributions in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Owen said meditation,
Awesome.
is showing that you learn those things and slowing down, don't reacting so fast and making wiser choices. Those are beautiful. And I was going to add, it really is the little things, as Kim said. It's the little choices that show we've learned again and again, and that builds us trust with ourselves to be able to make maybe some bigger moves. But I really believe it's the little things that matter the most, and even down to like, how do we start our morning, and how do we start our day? things that we can control that shift the rest of the day.
Yeah. And Sherry, thank you so much for your comment. I read this about a year ago, have applied the steps twice so far with wonderful success. Yeah, so inside that PDF, and I'll send it out via email, it's really simple steps in how we're communicating and also how we're releasing our own stress. And there's some really cool exercises in there. So now let's jump to our final question. What does my soul want for me in 2026? What would I love in 2026? What do I want this year? What would I love to be in and all around me in my reality? Why don't we write down and try to identify that one thing? You know, that one thing. And Stephanie and I are looking for our next place. We're actually moving. And when I go into meditation today, I'm just going to be thinking of the new space and just letting the mushroom field pop up. So if you have it, we could put it into the chat. If you have that one thing that you want to have in your life, to embody, right, in 2026, if you could put it into the chat, I'm going to start there. Reconciliation with my son, my grandson. Awesome. Feel free to pop it in the chat. Continue to awaken. Beautiful. Okay. Now, if we get a few more of you to add into the chat what you want, because now I have another second question about your answer. To slow down, trust the process, that my path is unfolding before my eyes. Beautiful. Awesome. Now, the thing that you want that you wrote down, right? Why do you want that? What do you think that thing is going to give you? And it should be like 1 to 3 words, your answer. What do you think that thing is going to bring you, the thing that you want? Why do you want it? I want this because it's going to bring me like self-realization. Okay, Owen, more love, bliss, happiness. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Do you guys see what's happening here? Our conscious mind said, I want this thing over here because it'll bring me this thing that I really want. Now we're refining our desires. Now we're getting into what our soul really wants us to vibrate on. Okay. Calmness throughout the day. Home is my focus as well. Bliss, being blissful, happy, peaceful, more love, self-realization, fulfillment. All right, Kim, now what do you fill that spot in your heart with? When it's filled, what do you feel it will be filled with? If you could write that into the chat. And Phyllis, try to hone it down into 1 to 3 words. Why do you want that? If you got that, what does it bring you? Awesome. So now we should be getting down to this one word or one phrase. All right. Which is really in alignment with what we really want. Phyllis, what would a new life bring you? One word. Try to come up with one word. Gratitude's amazing. I was watching this funny Instagram reel this morning. It was a comedian going, I really thought I was so screwed up. And then my therapist prescribed me a thought of gratitude 3 times a day, and it worked. And he goes, I just said, I'm grateful for my friends. And he's like, my brain was like, oh yeah, you do have great friends. I never thought about that. Here's some dopamine, right? Boom, you feel better the second you start to think of something that you have gratitude for. It's amazing. So again, that's using, the brain, the miraculous component of the brain that, the brain's always listening to us. It takes every thought as like a command. So yeah, gratitude's huge. Cool. So now I want us to circle that one thing, right? And we're just going to do a little bit of guided breath work. We'll do a little bit of breath work. And I want you to hold that one word in mind. Close your eyes. As you're holding that one word in mind, I want you to repeat that one word one time per breath. And notice if there's any tension in your body when you're thinking about that word. If there is, I just want you to touch that area if you could reach it and breathe into it. Embrace the tension with your breath. And every time you breathe into the tightness, I want you to imagine some of it is unlocking and releasing from the inside out, creating new open space. Breathing into the tightness, unlocking and releasing, coming back to your word. Letting that mushroom patch just appear in the subconscious. Coming back to your word, the thing that you want. And guess what? The only reason why you want it is because on the other side of this reality, you already have it. And you want it here. So we're just going to let it come through. Breathing deeply and slowly. Removing the boulder off to the side. Opening up the gateway. Allowing the airflow to move through the gateway. Silky, smooth breaths. Opening up the flow, the channels. The quadrants in our heart. Really starting to feel the vibration of that word in our heart as it beats. It vibrates. The frequency of that word that is already inside you. And now it's just communicating with every aspect of you. This is part of me. I allow it to flow into my identity. I love it being who I am. Allowing your heart rate to slow down a little more. Allowing the airflow to sink in a little deeper as you breathe a little slower. And then just imagining what your life would be like after 5 years of having that thing in and all around you. It's in your back pocket, your front pocket, your shirt pocket, your wallet, your bank account, your house, your home. It's in your bedroom when you're resting. It's in the back of your mind. It's part of your DNA. It's part of the support in your spine. It's in your relationships. It's everywhere. What would your life be like after 10 years of having it in your life, in your physical life? Feeling that joy, that connection. Knowing that I am it. It is me. It emits from me. I open up to the part of me, the version of me that has it eternally. And just seeing how it affects your everyday life, knowing that you have it for years. Thanking the universe, how grateful you'd be. To source, to the creator, to God, to spirit, to all of it. Because you're aligned with all of it. The fabric. Allowing your heart to open a little more. How much you love that thing, that word that is here now. What it feels like waking up in the morning knowing that it's there. What it feels like having your morning tea or coffee knowing that it's there. Going about your day. What it's like relating to the people in your family. What it's like relating to the people in your community. Knowing that this is you. Just vibrating from you naturally. It's a big part of your identity. You couldn't shake it if you wanted to, because it's part of you. And just anchoring it in and saying a few closing affirmations. Thank you, universe, for allowing me to breathe and receive this into my reality. I love you for loving me. I remember the part of you that's always one with me. And taking 2 or 3 closing breaths. And opening your eyes when you're ready. Okay, guys and gals, we were only 45 minutes over. Can you believe it? So I'm so touched that we got to spend this time to kick in the new year together. And it is the year of the fire horse. It's where we are in our power, charging forward. Let's keep the community together as strong as we can. We do this stuff together. And Stephanie, was there anything you wanted to share before we close out?
Just stay tuned for our dance date,
That's right.
group dance. Hopefully we're gonna plan those about monthly on Zoom.
So we had so much fun with you and everyone that attended in December. I think it was December 15th, right?
That was a lot of fun.
The 12th. Yeah, that was super fun. And so we're going to do it every month. We're going to do it coming up soon, probably in the next 2 weeks, but we'll send an email out about it. That was basically just a 1 hour dance party. We'll find a theme, and yeah, it was just super fun all around. So we're going to do that again. I just put in the link for our women's retreat. That's at the end of March in the Himalayan Institute in Pennsylvania. We have a 1 night option, a weekend option, and a 5-day option. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. We have 5 facilitators going to be co-leading a very special event on Saturday night for us. So we have the founder of Journey Dance, Tony Bergens. Then we have a world-renowned percussionist and singer from Nigeria coming to lead a drum circle. So, and it's just going to be a dancing, drumming, cosmic movement thing where we're going to be really anchoring in our power, right? And yeah, really coming into the body, and anchoring in our power. It's going to be very special. Yeah.
Open up, Stress is Gone, where to get the free gift. So
Oh, yeah.
Kelly, he said that she came through someone else through Karen. So we're so glad you're here. And just to make sure you stay on our mailing list. And in the meantime, you'll also get the 3 keys to break free from anxiety, which is really amazing and covers a lot of these things. So even just as if you've gotten it before and downloaded it, but it's a wonderful thing to go through again. And we've actually updated it since the first version.
Yeah.
So the first video that Brett ever shot in 2020, my parents' backyard, we replaced those, but pretty much same content, a little more refined, but brings you through the stress upper breath work and the anxiety freedom technique, which are just amazing tools to have always.
Yeah. So, Ali, I saw your hand went up. Is that a new hand or?
Okay, yes.
Mhm.
Well, I have a few things to share. The Instagram reels. Is it appropriate to send it directly to Stress is Gone?
To send what?
Instagram, like the year of the fire horse. That
Sure.
some say it's the 10 year, not 1 year, and 10 is a year of creation. So it's talk about standing still and pointing to create when earlier in the session here, and another is a movie reel about a queen. It might have been Queen Elizabeth. Don't quote me on that.
Mhm.
Quite young, with very young children, and the scene is simply her butler having the crown on a pillow, and she said, "May I borrow that for a moment?" And he says, "It's yours." So it was quite profound for me.
Yeah, that's a really it's like one of those like light bulb moments, like when you see little things like that and you hear that. So yeah, please send that to our Instagram if you want to share it with us. I just put our Instagram account on there too. I do a lot on Instagram, so does Steph. So if you're on Instagram, we'd love to connect with you on that as well. So we will be keeping everyone aware of what we have coming up in the next 2 weeks. Oh, there's also a lot of stuff that we have coming out, like speaking engagements. There's a really cool thing on January 8th. It's a New Year's symposium that I'll be doing a live like webinar, but it's really engaging. So if you join that, I'll put that in the email list as well. You'll be able to ask questions, and it's kind of like a talk I'll be doing. It's how to hand our stress over to source. So it's kind of like that technique where we're just like handing it over and, anchoring in our true power. So thank you all so much for being here. Great to see you all. One love, and let's keep 2026 in a really positive community focus. And once Stephanie and I land in our new place, we're looking to start a small retreat center in the Hudson Valley, and everyone will be getting an invite there because we just can't wait to do that. So God bless everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And we love you all. All right. God bless. Happy New Year.
Love you. Happy New
Love
Year.
you.